आत्मदर्शनम ब्रह्मदर्शनम सत्यदर्शनम
What is that whisper? Can you please stop?
Asatoma
Asatoma
Sadgamaya
Sadgamaya
Tamasoma
Tamasoma
Jyotirgamaya
Jyotirgamaya
Mrityorma
Mrityorma
Amritam Gamaya
Amritam Gamaya
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Let there be peace
Let there be peace
throughout the universe.
throughout the universe.
Let all living beings
Let all living beings
in land,
in land,
sea,
sea,
forest,
forest,
and sky
and sky
have peace.
have peace.
Lokaha samastaha
Loka samasta
Sukhino Bhavantu.
Sukhino bhavantu.
Lokaha samastaha
Loka samasta
Sukhino Bhavantu.
Sukhino bhavantu.
Lokaha samastaha
Loka samasta
Sukhino Bhavantu.
Sukhino bhavantu.
Harihi Om.
Hari Om.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha.
Shri Gurubhyo Namah.
Harihi Om.
Hari Om.
Slowly open your eyes. So, any questions or any experiences? Anything to share?
Who should I call Anton? He doesn't know you're leaving. Is it okay?
Anybody has any questions? Anything?
From last class to this class, last time we covered Anahata Chakra. So the two things I started looking. One, these are my understanding. One is being mindful when you connect with life is necessary.
Yes.
That's one thing. I think the experiences are when you want to do something, any intention you have. Very interesting. Everything falling in place.
Mm.
Everything seems to be interconnected.
Yeah.
Even simple things interconnected. One strange example: when I came from Hyderabad, I wanted to go to a loo. Simple, I was in a car. The guy pulled over into the petrol bunk.
Yeah.
Interesting, very interesting.
Right.
It started falling in place.
Correct.
This is one observation I have. The other one is when I think the meditation you taught, nightly meditation. Nightly, there are two meditation techniques. One is it will take you into the deeper bliss. But it takes half a day to get out of that mode.
Okay.
When you come back,
People are ready to pay millions of dollars for bliss here. You have to get out. You have to get out. The bliss is a big industry.
that's why I stopped doing it. It's very difficult to get out.
Everybody wants to bliss here. That's the only life.
Okay.
So in such a bliss, people go to Himalayas. In such a people go to forests. In such a people go to ashrams, and people leave the kingdom, right? And some people want to become kings because of such a bliss. So bliss is the main pursuit of life.
Okay.
People think pursuing a girl or boy is a pursuit, but that's not a pursuit. Really, they are pursuing bliss.
Okay. I want to get to that mode because I need to be connected with life more.
But bliss is in
Yeah,
bliss.
how do you handle it? How do you handle
See,
it?
in bliss, when you are bliss only, bliss. How do you handle bliss? Right? people, you can be blissful. See, the thing is, there you have to understand the difference between working for bliss
Okay.
and working out of bliss.
Mm.
Right? All your life you have been you have learned how to learn working for bliss. Okay? To get the bliss, you work. So when you have the bliss, you work out of the bliss. What is complexity?
No, you don't want to do anything else. Because it gets you into a deep, relaxing mode. You start, I'm yawning and I want to just sleep. That's what happens.
Bliss is sleep, is it?
No,
Bliss
I
is
think after that, the after effects are that you get into a deep relaxation.
yeah.
So you just want to, that's it. Just stay there.
So in deep relaxation, things have happened very very smoothly. Okay, the noise is less, your inefficiency is less. You'll operate very efficiently. See, everything in nature moves in bliss only. The animals live in bliss. They are not worried about past or future. They are in the present moment. Okay, they work efficiently. So to work out of bliss is a great opportunity. Most of the time, people want to seek bliss. They do so many things, right? So when you have it, why do you want to lose it?
To get back to the same state again and again.
What is same state?
The meditation takes you there.
Huh.
The meditation takes you there.
Hmm.
There are two modes you live in.
There's no two modes. There's only one mode.
One mode. Connecting with life in its own,
No. They are not too different.
They're not too different. In meditation, you will go inwards. While
In meditation, you don't go inwards.
you don't.
Meditation, you go beyond.
Meditation is where you drop your mind.
You go beyond. It's not inwards.
You go beyond.
Mm.
So maybe that's the right word.
Mm.
But when in connecting with life, you become mindful.
No, they're same. They're not different. See, you have to understand what is mindlessness before you want to understand mindfulness. What is mindlessness? To be mindless and working. Okay. What is what is mindlessness? Okay. The mind has a tendency to hold on to something. Mind always wants to hold on to something, right? It holds on to money, it holds on to cricket, it holds on to football, it wants to girl, boy. So many things it holds on to. So the nature of mind is to hold on. That is the nature of the mind. Now, if you hold on to an imaginary object, then it's called fantasy. So mind holding on to a real object, which is physical, is to be in the present moment. Okay. So the mind is, the past is there, the future is there, present is there. So most of the time, mind will be drifting from past to future. That's called mindlessness, mindless behavior. So now, what happens is that when you are such a person, while walking, his mind will be somewhere, the body will be somewhere, mind will be somewhere. He's a disintegrated entity. The senses are somewhere, the body and sense are somewhere, the mind is somewhere. Okay. It's like mind is in the past or future, so body is in the present. So it is like a state of, that is the mindless state. Okay, you say absent-minded guy. So what is the meaning of absent-minded guy? When you say absent-minded, he is present, body is present here, mind is absent. Mind is absent from the physical reality. What has gone to mind? Where has the mind has gone? Mind has gone to a virtual reality, okay, which is the past or future. Past doesn't exist actually. Okay, past is existing as memories, images. Okay, so now you are living in images and memory. Do you do that? That's called mindlessness, right? So constantly go on. What will happen to me? What will happen to me? What will happen to me? What will happen to you? Nothing will happen to you. because it's future. Oh, I should not have done that. Or thinking about, oh, what a beautiful days. Those are the days. Okay, what happened to me today? So the mind is constantly flowing in the past or future. It's never present in the physical reality, right? So this is called mindlessness. Okay. What is no mind state? A mind which has become silent, which is not holding on to anything, is called no mind state. Mind is not holding on to anything. Mind is holding on to something, but not in reality, but past or future is called mindless. Mind holding on to the present is called mindfulness. Okay. Mind holding on to nothing is called no mind. Because the self, Atma, you cannot hold on to anything. Atma, you cannot hold on. Right? Mind becomes silent and becomes only the Atma. So mindless state, mindful state, and no mind state. Okay. So what is yoga? Yoga, Tasmat, Krishna tells Arjuna, you fight war in yoga. What do you mean by fighting war in yoga? Okay. If Arjuna can say, I am very blissful, then he'll be dead. Blissfully dead, actually. Okay. So after seeing all Krishna's Vishwarupa and Arjuna can say, I am so blissful. Here, Bhagwan cannot protect him in that case. So, to fight the war in a mindful way is what Krishna tells Arjuna. Not mind in the past, not mind in the future, but mind totally in the present. Okay. A total presence of the mind is required for interaction in the world. So that doesn't mean that you are losing the state of bliss. So the bliss is when the mind is silent. Okay. Understand? The bliss is when the mind is silent. So normally, okay, normal human beings, the mind works like this. When I'm working something, it is in the present moment. Next moment, it jumps into future. So what will happen to my promotion? So what the hell is this promotion? That boss is a stupid guy. He is coming. Okay. What happened to my what is my wife doing now, or what is my girlfriend doing? So the mind is switching between the past and the present constantly. Past, present, and future constantly. This is the state of mindlessness. And when the mind switches with the past, present, and future multiple times, the mind gets stressed out. Okay. So when a person is fighting war in yoga or doing anything in yoga, he has only two states: a state of bliss and a state of concentration when the mind is focused on the present. So the mind which is focused on the present is called concentration. Mind which is in the state of self is called no mind, bliss. Mindfulness and bliss. So if you say write a graph, okay, a person who is mindless is past, present, future, past, present, future, past, future, present, past, like that it goes, mind. Whereas a person who is using yoga, okay, the only state is present, silence, present, silence, present, silence. The background is silence, bliss. So when your background is bliss, what will happen is that in that state of bliss, you are one with the universe. Lot of things will happen in a very synchronized way. That's called grace. Everything what is required for you will come, because when you are concentrating, you are individual. And you are working from a background of silence, that's called universal. That's Krishna. Okay. That's why the sloka of Bhagavad Gita is there, right? Yatra Yogeshwara Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayar Bhuti Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. Okay. Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara. Dhanurdhara means one who is fighting the war in present moment. Okay. And shooting the air requires a concentration, focus, silence. Krishna. When your mind becomes silent, you have become one with Krishna. So you fight a war with yoga. Live life in yoga. Yoga is a way of living. Okay. Yoga is not to be idle and say, I am blissful, I am not doing any work. You do out of the work out of bliss, then the work will be much more efficient. Because then individual and universal work in dance in harmony. Shiva and Jiva will work together.
2.50 also says that, right? Yoga karma kaushalam.
Yoga karmashu kaushalam.
There is another phenomena which I wanted to explore. What happens when you are actually working in mindful state and your spouse is actually in the state of,
Mindless.
disturbing you? At that point of time, how do you tackle that state?
It doesn't matter. Mindless and mindful. So, no mind, mindless, mindful. These are the questions. Any questions? See, then what will happen is that the work will become much more efficient. What your work will become like it's like whatever you do, it becomes universal work, working with the individual. Otherwise individual only is working.
Effortless.
Effortless. It becomes very effortless.
Guruji, sometimes what happens, like we are in that state, again we lose out.
We means what? You and husband together? ಯಾರು include ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ we ಅಲ್ಲಿ?
We crave for that state again.
Who craves?
Me, sir.
You crave for the state. Again, craving is the moment you say crave, you are gone to the past. When the mind is completely in the present, you naturally go to the state of no mind and present. No mind and
The same experiences after the meditation. Like yesterday, I had some different experience, which was very good. So again today, I will anticipate like I'm
yeah, there's no anticipation. Every time life is fresh and new. Every time life is new. Okay, nothing in nature can be stale. Right? So you bring any vegetable, you take vegetable. The vegetable will be as a life is fresh. After that, it will rot. So all experience in life will rot. Even a vegetable which you have brought, you kept in fridge, after some 7 days, you have to throw it out. Why are you keeping memories? Why are you keeping anything in your fridge? Here, frozen. Just throw it out. Over. Today is a fresh vegetable. Today is a fresh meditation. Right? You don't eat a stale vegetable. You don't eat anything which is rotten. So why you keep using even the most very nice milk also will get spoiled. So even best memories also are not useful. Just drop it. Any questions? And else?
Puja and Abhishek is full.
Where are they? So Abhishek is doing puja, I think. Puja is doing Abhishek.
That is a more justified state.
Okay. So meditation is a state of no mind. Meditation is not an action. Meditation is state of dropping all actions. Okay, mind wants to hold on to something, you don't drop that. Just stay not doing anything is called meditation. Anything is a support only for that. Whether whatever I give a talk or you hold, observe the breath, and all this is support only. After that, you learn no mind. It's not a state of dullness. It is I meditated for 1 hour. I don't know what happened. There's sleep actually, not meditation. All right. Okay. I was so blissful. Okay. So what happened? Nothing. I don't know. I suddenly woke up. So it is a state of what they call as, it's not bliss. It's not meditation. It is actually state of sleep. Meditation is being aware, alert, mind not holding on to something, mind becoming silent. That's called meditation. Okay. In that silence, there's a wisdom. In that silence, the mind is alert actually. In that silence, there's oneness with the union, the world, the infinite. In that silence, there's a wisdom. So just check up who is in a mindless state and who is in the mindful state now. Mind drifting in the past or future, or mind being in the present. The children are always in the present state. Okay, so they don't have any baggage. There's no past or future. They are in the full mindful state, but they are not in the state of, they don't know no mind state. They are not aware of the no mind state. They are mindful state. Okay, mindfulness is there, but no mind is not recognized. So because you don't recognize, as they grow into adult, they will drift into mindless state. Something which you are not gained consciously, unconsciously what you have, you lose. Then you have to gain consciously. Okay. Okay. So let us recap what are the things we learned. Mooladhara is about what? Mooladhara chakra is fear and security. Right? It's about Ganesha. Swadhisthana, Mooladhara chakra is what is a gland?
Maybe adrenal.
Adrenal. Right? Then Swadhisthana. I think all forgotten. So, Swadhisthana is about desire, guilt, right? Devata is Shakti. Okay. Then Manipura is, Manipura is action, karma. Okay. Karma phala. Right? And will. Okay. Devata is Surya. Anahata is emotions. Vishnu. Okay. So then Vishuddha, throat center. Throat is the gland is thyroid. Devata is Shiva. So let us chant the Vishuddhi mantra. Hum. 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 Slowly open your eyes. Thyroid gland is responsible for your metabolism. Okay, metabolism means whatever food you take, digest, the rate of burning of that is what you call as function of the thyroid. So those people whose thyroid is not functioning very well, they're very sometimes some of them they gain a lot of weight, some of them lose a lot of weight. Okay, right? That's because the rate of burning of the food and whatever you eat is not proper. So when thyroid gland is properly balanced, okay, thyroid gland is very functioning very well, the body will be in an optimal condition. So that's where the yogis, many of the yogis, they look very young because thyroid gland is functioning with the optimal efficiency throughout their life. Okay, they look very youthful even though their age is more because thyroid gland is working properly. Okay, so why does thyroid gland get disturbed? When does the thyroid gland get disturbed? What condition it gets disturbed? And what is the effect of disturbance other than physical? As I told you, everything is psychological. The mind disturbs the energy pattern, and energy pattern disturbs the body. The mind controls the body to energy pattern. Right? Mind operates on the energy. Energy operates on the body. So when the mind is in a state of disturbance, the thyroid gland gets affected, or any other gland also gets affected. Okay. So when I say a disturbed state of mind, what does it mean actually? What is a disturbed state of mind? The mind is not in the present. It's in the past or future. It's in the past and future. It's our past, present, and future. Past, present, and future. Future, past. There is called disturbance. The mind completely being in the present is not a disturbed mind. It's a calm mind. Right? So the mind keeps on switching with the past, present, and future is a disturbed mind. Understand? So mind exercises a lot of control over the body, right? Mind's job is to control the body. So now when the mind is not in the present moment, still it's controlling the body. With your fantasies, with your dreams, with your hopes, it's controlling the body. So energies used to control the body, because wherever the mind drifts, the energy also moves. So, but it's not optimum and right, because what is required for the present moment is the body's job is to function in the present moment. Body is a vehicle to interact with the physical reality. So that physical reality is interacting with the non-reality, mind in the past or future. So then there's a disturbance. Okay. So this disturbance, to come down, you need to learn how to be in the present moment. Let us do a small pranayama which will activate the thyroid. So when you breathe in with the sound, breathe out without sound. When you breathe in with this, that there is a natural sound that's actually stimulating the center. Okay. Breathe out silently. Breathe in with that sound. Breathe out silently. Okay. So when you do that, it creates a sound called so hum. So hum. Breathe in, so, breathe out, hum. Okay. So that will stimulate this area of the throat center. Let us do that. As you do that, the mind becomes deeply silent. And breath should be long, not forced, not fast, just long breath. So hum. I am one with the Supreme. Sit silently. Asatoma
Asatoma
Sadgamaya
Sadgamaya
Tamasoma
Tamasoma
Jyotirgamaya
Jyotirgamaya
Mrityorma
Mrityorma
Amritam Gamaya
Amritam Gamaya
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Slowly open your eyes. So in ಕೆಮ್ಮಂತ ಯಾಕೆ so what happened? Anybody has a can you explain what happened when you do this?
फिजिकली एक्सपीरियंस
Whatever.
जब मैं इस तरह से उसमें बैठता हूँ तो मेरा इतने पोर्शन में यहाँ से चेस्ट के ऊपर यहाँ बहुत मुझे गर्मी फील होती है बहुत ज्यादा
Heat. Anybody else?
Very cold.
Cold. Okay. Anybody else?
Awareness.
हाँ?
Headache.
हेडेक आ गया किसके बारे में सोते थे किसी के बारे में नहीं
Usually it's the other way around, but
हाँ? Okay. Yes, Vijay?
In breath, the awareness is higher and sharper. Out breath, lot of other thoughts also seem to come out.
Mhm. So what did you do?
Mind becomes silent very fast.
Mind becomes silent. So mind reaches the silence, deep silence very quickly. Right? Did you observe that?
Vibration here and here.
Here and here. Okay, very good. So if mind becomes silent, calm, peaceful. So all of you have become younger by 1 year. Some fine tuning of thyroid gland. Huh?
sweating
Sweating. Okay. So thyroid gland. Okay.
Some years back, went through this art of living. Many years back. Soham is the patent.
Soham is a patent.
Patent.
How do you patent Soham?
The patent.
How?
This is the patent of art of living. They won't give you that with the cassette.
Okay.
Play the cassette with Soham
Okay.
many times.
Okay.
I had all the question, why is Soham?
Okay.
So that question was not.
So why Soham? I'll answer you.
Soham, I think you keep saying, you keep breathing 100 times, and then they pull you down. And the question, why this particular, this particular they use it for a pattern. Soham 100 times in a minute.
So there's something to do with breathing. But Soham has nothing to do with breathing.
Soham, somebody will be saying,
I know, I got it.
and you keep breathing.
I got
to that tune.
I got it.
But you're unconsciously made to do this, and you feel happy.
Is it?
Yeah. So that's
Why you feel happy? I mean, unconsciously you paid the fee or something. You have to feel happy because you paid the fee.
You keep saying Soham, then you'll say so happy.
So happy.
breathe. And you will so happy, come awake.
Okay, I'll tell you about Soham. So the consciousness alone exists. Okay. So in that consciousness, there's not this, not that. There's consciousness alone exists. In that consciousness, there is a parashakti, vibration, energy, which moves. So the movement is of two types: outward movement and inward movement. Okay. Outward movement is for expansion and creation. Inward movement is towards the silence. There's a two movements in the. It's like you can think a movement in an ocean, outward and inward, outward and inward. Okay. There's a two basic motions in the consciousness, outward and inward. Outward is towards the creation, expansion and creation, the contraction and dissolution. These are the two movements in the consciousness. It happens continuously. Expansion, outward movement, expansion and creation. Inward movement, contraction and dissolution. This is actually what you call as play of Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is consciousness, Shakti is the energy. The energy moves outwards, expands. Energy moves inwards, contracts. So now, in the outward expansion, there is awareness of the other. Okay. What was one? What was nothing else other than consciousness, Shiva? There's a feeling of aham and idam, I and this. Okay. So the consciousness which was always one, there's a feeling of aham and idam, I and this. I, the self-awareness is I, and awareness of the other is called idam, this. Okay, there is two things happen when in outward movement, aham and idam. Okay, now idam is all this creation is becomes idam. So in idam, a part of the idam you get associated with yourself. Aham associated with a part of the idam, body and mind. Then call as me. So aham and idam, it becomes that. One becomes two. So now I have become some individual entity because I have associated with creation. But then I remember that which was where there was oneness. That's called I call tat. That. Tat, aham, idam. Okay. So that fundamental movement is still replicated as the in-breath and the out-breath. Come inside. So that basic movement is still replicated as inward and outward movement. So now when there's an outward movement of the breath goes out, okay, right? Breath goes out, that's hum. When the breath moves in, sa, hum, sa, and this is not a verbal sound. This is a natural sound which happens in the throat, very natural sound at a fundamental level. So that fundamental level sound only where it is actually you don't have to. It is not a pronunciation. It is that deep level is happening. Sa, hum, sa, hum, sa, hum. Hum stands for aham. Sa stands for that consciousness. Okay. So that consciousness is just one. I have become. I am that. That repetition happens at the deep level of your being. Okay. I am saha, that. So he is what that consciousness. Now what that saha become tat? Why did it become sat tat? Because you have disconnected from that. Otherwise it's saha, the consciousness. Saha aham, saha aham. This is the moment which is deep level happening within us. Deep level, there's a pulsation within us. I am one with that consciousness. Shivoham. That becomes Shivoham, Soham. So that is the vibration which is happening, and the representation of the vibration is the breath. Okay. So breath has an outward movement. When the outward movement, what happens? There's a relaxation actually. I had a fight with my wife. She is no longer here. She has gone. Mikey. Okay. I had a fight with my boss. The symbol of relaxation is breathe out. Okay. So breathe in is tension. Breathe in is life, breathe out is death. But really there is no death. Okay, really, since there is only consciousness, in the breathe out stage you feel deep relaxation because the consciousness alone exists. In the breathe in stage suddenly you feel filled with life. It's a creative process. The moment you feel with life you feel individual. Okay, aham. Okay, so that individuality comes into picture. So breathe in, breathe out. So this is being a very fundamental sound, deepest level. So reproducing that through the breath gives a deep relaxation because it reminds you of your own nature as that, as the mind becomes very deeply silent. Any questions?
We can do after a fight or something, like it will give relaxation. Try that next time.
Until that point, you're holding the breath. Okay.
So the breathe in we take is aham, and breathe out is
So
sa.
breathe in is so saha, breathe out is hum. So hum. Just now before you came, I taught on breathing practice called so hum.
This should be an essential part of the marriage procedure. Like, this is how you are going to relax.
But sir, when we breathe out, actually, when we are breathing in, we are becoming conscious of our body. That is aham. And when we are breathing out, then it's like apana. That stage is actually you are losing.
No.
Yourself.
This is actually
you are losing
this is
the
actually
point.
becoming individual, right? At the universal level, saha aham. That fundamental thought is I am that. When you breathe in, you are saying aham. Okay, that's because you are becoming individual. So that's why two processes there. One is the expansion and creation. Okay, contraction and dissolution. Right. So now look at the individual point of view and look at the universal point of view. They are reverse. Do you understand? A creation is becoming individualization. Okay, and dissolution is becoming expanding into consciousness. Now the soham is from whose point of view?
It's from universal point of view.
That is going on deep level.
Okay.
So your individual mind is inverted actually.
Because individual, like I think that inwards the breath should be aham and then outward should be so. But it is reversed because of we want to dissolve.
Right.
Our body is, that's why probably the sound, is it the natural way or
It's
like natural the frequency, the thing is inside sound is
the
so,
deep inside soham. Deep inside the universal, always remembrance that I am one with that universal consciousness. Because you are identified as individual, your thought process changed. Okay. So then this is related to Paramahamsa also. So this is called Soham. Is actually the word Hamsa comes from that. Hamsa. Okay. Hamsa. Hum stands for I. Sa stands for that. Hamsa. So now an individual and universal think in a different way. Alright. Hamsa. I am that. What are the universal think? Ham Saha. This is my thinking. Right? So universal thinks that way, this is me. So hum sa. So hum sa. So hum and hamsa are there ulta, right? Saha aham saha. So what is the, which is individual point of view, which is universal point of view?
That's why Paramahansa will have empathy towards everybody, probably because he will feel that I'm him.
I'm all that is. So aham, saha, saha, aham. They are two different. What is it? What do you call as perspectives? One is a universal perspective, and other is a individual perspective. Okay. Okay.
So is it possible to attain liberation just by this understanding the samsa? Because
anything is simple, very simple things also will help you to attain liberation. Now that you're married, liberation is very one step away. Anything can make anything can
previous state that is not possible.
You will never be the same.
After marriage, what will be the next step to liberate more soon?
The marriage is liberation for the girls actually, bondage for the boys.
Sir, you are putting it very nicely. Sir is putting it very nicely. It's a Tihar jail for boys.
Not Tihar jail, man. Andaman Nicobar, Dalabani. There is no escape.
Once you come out of marriage.
You don't have to come out of marriage. You have got into marriage for liberation.
Sir, we are already liberated. That day you don't know.
Sir, we actually, why we put ourselves as what can be worse than.
Okay. So, see, at the fundamental level, okay, at the deepest level, the universe doesn't forget that what is creation is me only. Neither the creation forgets that I am one with the universe. Understand? At the deepest level, at the surface level, because your mind is associated with the body and all, something is thinking is happening at the outer level. But in a deepest level, that urgent understanding is there. Aham saha, saha aham. Right? So aham saha, what is primary? I am that. Okay? That means individual is speaking of I am that. Individual at the deepest level, aham saha. What is universal level? Saha ham. Okay? Saha aham. Always saha means that only. Other one. Saha aham. So the universal and individual, that thinking is, the perspective is different. Aham saha, saha aham. Are you clear? Are you getting what I'm saying?
Guruji, if you look at it, this is a fundamental nature. Duality comes right from there.
Right.
You are designed to perceive duality.
No. You're actually about duality. I have to speak later. So it's another topic.
Yeah. Okay. This whole, if you look at it, these two extremes, Tat has created these extremes.
Tat has nothing has happened. Tat is always peaceful.
Tat is conscious, has this, he oscillates between these two. Right?
The consciousness, nothing has happened actually. In that, nothing is there.
You said conscious, this whole creation of
appearance there.
Appearance itself is manifesting as duality.
Correct. Now, dualism. Dualism and duality are different.
Dualism. It is manifesting dualism.
Yeah.
And everything is look like duality.
No. Duality will become when you associate the dualism. I'll explain that.
Okay.
First, the perspective is saha, aham, saha. Is it clear? There are two perspectives of life. I am that I am. Okay. So this understanding at the deepest level, neither at the individual level nor at the universal level, is not lost. Okay. To recollect that is called meditation. Chanting of Soham, Shivoham and all is verbalization at the mental level. But the deepest level, it is already happening. Okay. Clear? What is clear? Not clear. Is it clear or not clear?
Not clear.
Okay. What is not clear? Okay, there are two, right? There are appearances of two, the universal and the individual. Okay, so universal says Saha Aham. I am all this. Okay.
While breathing, you're telling Soham,
Huh.
but it is from tongue.
No, we'll come to that. Hamsa, I'm saying the meaning of Hamsa. Saha Aham. Okay. At the universal understanding, right? All this is there is the myself.
For my understanding.
Yeah. Right. Ham Saha. Hamsa, individual, and what universal will think? Individual will think Aham Saha. I am that. So this is the understanding which is there at the deepest level. Now, at the surface level, your individual understanding Ham has become different. It's become body and mind. Right? Your association, this is happening at the consciousness level. At the individual level, your understanding is I am the body. Okay, all your understanding is with respect to body. When you breathe in hum, so hum. Breathe in, individualization is happening. Okay, breathe out, universalization is happening.
It's reverse, right? Breathe in is so and hum is reverse.
Breathe is so.
So is that is me, right?
That is me, but that has not become me. That me has become body and mind. Your thinking has got inverted. Okay, but the deepest level, that understanding is still there, pulsating understanding.
So that has changed.
That has changed. So to reverse that is the pranayama. Anybody is understood or confused? More confused?
That is universal thinking. We are thinking that universal thinking.
So at Paramahamsa, okay, difference between an individual and a Paramahamsa. Individual is called Hamsa. Okay, Hamsa is called Jiva. A Paramahamsa is a realized soul or enlightened one. Okay, difference between Hamsa and Paramahamsa is, so Paramahamsa understands Saha Aham. Okay.
That I am.
All that is there is I am. Whereas individual has to always think I am in one with that. Aham Saha.
Then individual will not get liberated, right?
Why?
He thinks that I am that, but he has to think like universe because.
So that at some point of time that flipping over happens. So because you are identified with body and mind, that the deepest understanding, you are not in tune with that. You are tuning your understanding with this body. Okay. So no matter how hard you try, always if body comes into picture, you are in conscious this thing. So that body cannot be one with the universe, one with the deeper consciousness. So somewhere that flip has to happen. Then Hamsa Soham. Hamsa Soham.
But you are teaching us to actually do the meditation, which is Soham, which actually means that that is me, and that essentially means that you are telling that is a reality, but then that we are not attuned to. So then why we?
You're remembering that. It's self-remembrance.
But you're telling our bodies are not evolved to. That flipping has to happen later, not now, right?
No, I didn't say that.
You just told, right?
I didn't say that our body is not I never said our body is not evolved.
Human body, mind.
Your mind requires time to flip, no?
मैं हूँ और इनमें से एक मैं हूँ, मेरे ख्याल से आपका कहना है।
फिर से बोलिए।
मैं एक इंडिविजुअल एक मैं हूँ, उसमें से इनमें से मैं एक हूँ, ये भी
इनमें से मैं एक हूँ अंदर.
I'm one among them.
No. I am all. My सब मैं हूँ.
I think it's happening right here in the classroom. Guruji thinks I'm all the students. And students think I am Guruji.
Who thinks I'm Guruji?
No. The Guru thinks I am all the students. That's why he's teaching. He is compassionate. The student thinks I am Guruji.
Okay. So I'll give you some example. Okay. Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was going in a boat in Calcutta area. Calcutta, that Hooghly River, no? Crossing. So suddenly he started feeling pain. He said, somebody is hitting me. Okay. कोई मार रहा है मुझको. He started crying. Okay. Then nobody is hitting him, but he still felt the pain. So then, when the boat reached the shore, he found that there are two people who are fighting. One person was hitting the other person. Wherever the other one person was hitting, this person was getting Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was getting hurt. Now Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa was experiencing the hurt of the other person because he is that.
It's a real story.
Dangerous. She is worried now. सबका पिटाई वही कर रहे हैं. आज टारगेट अभी एक पिटाई से बहुत हो गया.
You feel like the disciples are fighting.
बहुत डेंजर सिचुएशन है ना. कि कोई किसी को मार ले मुझे पिटाई मिला.
Once के लिए तो और भी dangerous situation है. They are already getting beaten. And now that they have to take a load of other people.
Okay. So this also, there's also, I mean, these are different states of consciousness. Okay. So now, here what happens was there is still an identification of the body, and that identification along with the empathy is causing that pain in Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa. When the identification of the body drops, then that hurt will not be there, but you have understanding that I am that. So this identification of the body is what is causing somebody's hurt to be seen on the Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's body. This is actually happens in a state of Savikalpa Samadhi. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, all this identification drops. Then consciousness alone is there. Okay.
Seeing, seer, ಇದೆಲ್ಲದು ಸವಿಕಲ್ಪದಲ್ಲಿ.
In Nirvikalpa,
nothing see.
all are one.
No seer, no seeing.
It's okay. So for enlightenment, there's a deep empathy because he feels there's nobody other than himself. In all living beings, he sees himself. Aham, saha, saha, aham. Okay. So this aham, saha, aham, saha is actually individual thinking. Saha, aham is the universal thinking. Paramahamsa is one who has that flipping has happened. Saha, aham. Okay. Any questions? Complicated or simple? Simple. हाँ? क्या हुआ?
नहीं अब
समझ गया. Okay. So what happens is that when Buddha got enlightened, somebody asked Buddha, what is your first experience of enlightenment? Okay. So the Buddha said, when I got enlightened, everybody in the universe got enlightened. How?
So
I am that. I am in everybody. Okay. An enlightened one does not see anybody as unenlightened. Okay. An unenlightened one can only see unenlightenment in everybody. So there are two categories of people, Buddha and Pedda. Okay, Pedda and Buddha. So Pedda means in Kannada the fool. Right? In Telugu means Pedda means I think big guy. I don't know. So Pedda and Buddha. If you ask Pedda, how many Buddhas are there in the world? There are 6 billion population. How many Buddhas there in the world? Pedda will say, wow, it's very difficult. Buddha will come once in a few million years. Okay, only one Buddha will come. Okay, next Buddha when it will come, in another few million years later he will come. That's what Pedda will say. Okay, so Buddha will, if you ask the same question to Buddha, how many Buddhas are there? Buddha will say, I don't see anybody other than Buddha. There are 5 billion Buddhas. Okay, so that is the viewpoint of a universal. The viewpoint of individual and viewpoint of the universal. So then we ask, then why these people are struggling for enlightenment? They say they must be sleeping actually. They are trying to wake up. I am woken up Buddha and they are sleeping Buddhas. That's what they say. So this is the viewpoint of the universal. The way universal and the individual think are different. Okay. One whose mind has become one with the universal and started thinking and understanding and living life as universal is called Paramahamsa. One who has not happened that, it's called Hamsa, Jivatma.
So how does the liberated one think? I just want to know what he thinks. Like, does he has even a white color glass that he thinks that they are liberated, or he doesn't think that also?
So he doesn't think it's a natural point.
No, he doesn't even. Does he think that others are Buddha, or does he even not bother about whether others are Buddha or not Buddha?
So he has no experience other than Buddha. Just like for you, another person is a body. For him, another person is Buddha, the consciousness. There's no thinking inward. There's no intermediation of the thinking inward. It's a direct experience. Are you clear? Now we'll have to understand the difference between dualism and duality. Dualism is variety. Duality is identification with variety. So a painting is there. A painting has red color, white color, black color, many colors are there. If there's no colors, there's no painting. The painting, the colors are variety in the painting. Okay. This variety is called dualism. Okay. But the moment you identify one part of the painting and say this is me, then it becomes duality.
The reason I asked the question, I read this Tao principle,
Mm-hmm.
the yin and yang. Anything will have two extremes.
Mm-hmm.
So when you hum, these are the two extremes.
Yes.
So the duality is really a swing between these two.
This is not duality, dualism.
Dualism is swing between these two. Ultimately, Tat is what is in the middle.
Not in the middle.
Not in the middle, but Tat is beyond.
It's everywhere beyond.
Beyond. So he is probably Tat is the seer of these two.
Consciousness.
Tat is not even seer. Saha is seer. The Tat is neither seer nor seen. In that, there's neither seer nor seen. The seer, seen, and the process of seeing collapse in Tat. Okay. When there is a seer and seen, there's a dualism has happened. And the seer identifies with a part of the Tat, then becomes duality. Non-duality is Tat. There's no other. There's no question of, when there's no other, there's no question of seeing, seer. Right? Knowledge and ignorance also disappear there. In Tat. But the knowledge and other awareness comes in the Saha and Idam. Saha and Idam is dualism. That Saha and Idam becomes Aham and Idam, it becomes duality.
The identification, what makes the difference?
At the universal level, there's nothing, no, right? I mean, at the Tat level, there's nothing. Okay. Yes, Abhishek. Both of you. A more complicated than CA lessons. Suddenly she realized somebody is beating somebody. Oh, heavy. Okay.
If somebody thinks other person has the body and mind, then he's not enlightened.
But how somebody thinks?
He behaves like enlightened, but he's not enlightened.
Yeah. How somebody thinks like that? How do you understand somebody is thinking like that?
He interacts like that.
The all thinking process is based on the body and mind is unenlightened state. Okay. But it's very difficult to find out who is unenlightened.
But because sometimes enlightened also acts, he's just acts.
So it's difficult to find out who is enlightened. Okay. It's not easy unless you are enlightened. Any questions?
Then also, how can one know? How will enlightened one know?
Enlightened one does not know anybody other than himself.
But how will you know that other guy is enlightened? According to him, everybody is sleeping enlightenment.
Sleeping enlightenment. Then you know there's somebody sleepwalking, no? ये तो थोड़ा दारू पिया है ऐसा कर रहा है. So this is a state of aberration in enlightenment that you can understand. If somebody who is healthy knows what is unhealth is about. All right. That the only difference is it doesn't treat that unhealth is a permanent state.
But how enlightened people know? How enlightened person know that he is enlightened?
There's no explanation required for that. It's final, ultimate. So when the enlightenment happens, how enlightened person knows that he is enlightened? There's no certificate, no school gives certificate that he is called enlightened. I can give you, okay? If you want a certificate after this class, I'll give you. All right? But there's no school which gives you a certificate of enlightenment.
Microsoft certified enlightenment.
So there's no school which gives you enlightenment, okay? So what happened is a person who is genuinely seeking, okay? There are many false seekings are not genuine, okay? Somebody starts looking for enlightenment. I want to find God, as if God is lying somewhere. So they start looking for something, okay? Then they think that I have found God. These are all at many surface level. A person who is really seeking a depth, who is not compromising on anything which is secondary, you will eventually find it. Okay. So when he finds it, he will not deceive himself. For him, there's no, even if he has still some doubt that something is missing, he will still continue until his all doubts drop. Vidyate hridaya granthi, chidyate sarva samshayaha. All doubts will vanish. The ignorance, knot of ignorance will drop. And this will happen only if he is genuinely seeking. Otherwise, many people will get stuck. Oh, I have found God. I am very happy with God. Right? All those things will happen at the surface level. But the deepest level, the person will never, when somebody who is in search of truth, he will never compromise on something secondary. And he is not doing it for somebody else's sake, proving to somebody. Ultimately, you cannot cheat yourself. Okay, he will not cheat himself. Once he comes to that clarity, oh, this is what it is, and then all doubts will vanish. then he doesn't require anybody else's proof. Right? Ultimately, you are the ultimately for you, you are the proof. Anything in life, right? That person comes and says, "ये हुआ, सची मुझे देखना है. I have to get the proof." So ultimately, proof is for yourself. So how can you cheat yourself when you have not reached it? If you are genuine, right?
And you need a guru also.
Huh?
And you need a guru. That's where the guru comes.
He can guide, he can show the way, but then ultimately you have to see it.
Like, how does this check for bliss work?
Check for bliss. How to check for bliss?
Because see, the mind, like suppose as a seeker, the mind is always seeking bliss, but the self is beyond the mind, right? So I mean, it's caught in a loop now.
What is in loop? Mind is in
mind.
Huh.
Yeah. It is seeking something that is beyond it, and like so. Then how will the like bliss manifest?
So how mind cannot know the self, okay? Because self is beyond the mind.
Yeah.
This is the paradox. Okay, mind cannot know the self because self is beyond the mind. How will the bliss manifest is the question. So this is a fundamental question of enlightenment. All that human being has is only a body and a mind and intellect. And spirituality say body, mind, and intellect cannot understand self. Finished. So you are stuck. Okay, it is beyond. Correct. Now you are finished because nothing is there. You don't have any other instrument, a microscope or telescope. Nothing is able to find this self. Correct. Mana eva karanam manushanam bandha mokshayoho. The mind alone is responsible for bondage and liberation. So when you say mind, beyond mind, the mind which is identified with the body and sense organs is called mind. Mind which is not identified with body and sense organs is no mind. The no mind finds the self. What happens is that the no mind, in a state of no mind, all the conflicts in the mind resolve. The conflicts will get resolved. Then the mind has no state of conflict. The mind has no state of identification. That mind has become one with the self. Then the bliss manifests.
But when you say one with the self, there is no mind left, right? So
that is self. The pure mind is the self.
Yeah. So like when you say a seeker is looking for proof, when the proof is self-luminous is one part of it. Okay. Now, as far as the bliss is concerned, when
the bliss will manifest when there's no conflict within. No, there's no conflict. There's no confusion within. Right. The mind has become tranquil, and the bliss manifests.
No mind state, isn't it bliss?
Yes.
How to reach that?
The first step anyway, all of you have taken already. It's a matter of time. Huh?
Already reached.
Already reached.
Manu Jitendriya is liberated. So
yeah.
Basically, you have to think beyond the limited, and that's why service and other things.
They are all helping to purify the mind.
Basically, to go beyond, just not think about yourself, but about others. So this always reminds about any service.
Any service is for your own self. You are doing for others. So it's a reminder, constant reminder that myself is present in all.
Or I have to go beyond myself.
My individual.
Or I have to think beyond myself.
The myself is my individual self. Okay. The self in me is self in you, self in all. So that understanding to develop, you do the service.
But how will we understand? We can only understand through service that I have to think beyond my body comforts.
Correct.
I have to think for others.
Yeah. So that actually this is reverses the process of the mind. No, mind is always me. So the me concept gets enlarged now. So this is the enlargement purifies the mind. It's a reversing process.
So you form a bigger family.
A big family. So your small I gets expanded. Okay. Others you are shrinking. So that expansion process, you're trying to understand that I am there in everybody. Okay. It's not reached that you're not reached the realization, but that is the process is in the right direction. Service.
Sometimes ego also builds ego.
Ego
I am
can
doing.
The question is I am doing, I am doing. See, the thing is the service can be many purposes. A social service is there. There are many people who do social service. Why do they do social service? They feel empathy with people. Okay. So then they do service for the person is suffering. That's empathy. Then there are people who do social service for, okay, I want to be called social worker because that becomes a first step for him to become political power. So now when I speak of doing service, the service person is doing here for the purpose of moksha or liberation. The purpose is very different. Then he will not lose sight of why he is doing. Okay.
Again, that will not become selfish. Guruji, like for moksha, I'm doing
The moksha, if you do for moksha, there's no selfish desire because that's the ultimate. So you cannot come out of desire until the desires are fulfilled. So have a big desire. Instead of small things, why? One big shot. Okay. So I want to break up for a few minutes and then continue. Biology break or a coffee break is required. Yes or no? Okay. So we can have some coffee or tea and then we can join back.